Hi everybody, you are Supreme Toys here again with another NECA Dungeons & Dragons review. This time we're going to be looking at Grimsword Ultimate action figure. Alright, Warduke was amazing. Warduke was amazing, and I can't wait to see what Grimsword is like. As I mentioned in the last review, I found both of these guys at the Haulathon at my local Target, and this art on this package is fantastic, just like Warduke's. It's gorgeous. I don't know who the artist is, but he should be proud of his work, even if this is just like quick work that they do. It's fantastic. We got a nice little look of Grimsword in action here, and on the back, more action poses of Grimsword. Got his little bio here on the back. Grimsword, evil knight, is a mighty warrior and fierce fighter. He hopes to rule the land someday, after he defeats all his enemies in combat. Grimsword has many evil friends fighting by his side, but he cannot be trusted. He will betray or fight anyone in order to gain power. Well, he sounds like a jerk. Look at this guy. He is massive. I had no idea he was going to be this big when they revealed the prototype images of this figure. When I opened this thing for the first time at the store, I was like, what? He's got to be about 8 inches tall. In fact, I'll pull the measuring tape out here in a minute. And of course, we have this nice picture of him in action with his snake flail. This guy looks fantastic, man. And come on, as mentioned with Warduke, look at the one-for-one here. The paint apps, the detail, the sculpt, everything looks just like the photographs. I don't know how NECA does it. It's amazing. I really wish Super 7 would take some cues and do some like espionage to find out how NECA is able to pull this stuff off. Check this guy out. Check this guy out. Look at the sculpt on this guy. Now, there's going to be like a lack of articulation because of, you know, the way he's sculpted. But just first impressions, this guy is amazing. Look at this. Look at this guy, man. I wish I had a suit of armor that looked like this. And remember, these are based on vintage action figures. Those action figures did not look anything like this. Of course, you know, they were limited to what they were able to do back then, but it's nice that we can see really what the artists and the sculptors really wanted to do but couldn't. And Grimsword here is just unbelievable. The paint apps are just phenomenal. Check out this head sculpt. His little red eyes are painted inside the helmet with a little touch of yellow. His mohawk is painted like a bone color. His horns on the side of his helmet are articulated. I was worried about that. I was afraid that these were going to be a breakage issue trying to pose the head, but they actually swivel. That was smart. Wow, they did a good job. Love this snake that wraps around his entire body as part of the armor. The tongue whips up to the edge of the pauldron here, and the snake just wraps completely around his body, all the way to the little rattle on the tail. This is cool. And this is a soft rubber. Does this mean... Okay, he's actually got a waist bobble. What? And it's so good. It does... Like, I expected absolutely no articulation at that point, but they pulled it off and they made it work. Wow. Come on, NECA. You guys are killing it. This is awesome. Look at these spikes. The armor is so awesome. I can't stop gushing over this figure. Oh my gosh, look at it. This puts so many other companies to shame, and there's so many other companies trying to be at this level. And NECA's sculptors, their engineers are just so on point. Even with the points where they need to be like, all right, the plastic needs to be softer here, and more pliable here, or firmer here. They've got it down to a science. I don't know who they got on their team, but they're doing fantastic work. All right, let's see the boots. Man, this guy's just amazing. I love this snake head on the knee pad. Wow, this guy's just so great. Let's check out his articulation. That head articulation is phenomenal. And because these are posable, you don't have to worry about it hitting the edge of his armor. You can rotate it and pose it accordingly. That was so brilliant on their part. So brilliant. That was so good. All right, let's see. Shoulders. Pretty good. Pretty tight. I love that scaled armor there. Check that out. The paint is so clean. There's no stuck joints so far. Bicep swivel. What about the elbows? The elbows probably are going to be really lackluster. All right, even with the little rubber pieces here, he can still get close to a 90 degree. And there's a twist, so you could twist it. I would be cautious as there's a lot of give here, but I still am worried about these softer rubber pieces ripping and tearing. Let's see, is there a gauntlet twist? No, there's no gauntlet twist, but the hands do turn and hinge, and they have a really nice solid range of motion. Let's see how that mirrors to the other side. Of course, this thing is really open right here, so it's not going to get in the way. His arm will raise about the same amount as the left, but it will have a problem raising in the front. You'll have to raise it up to the side a little bit because of this piece right here. That being said, it still does pretty good. Yep, still does pretty good. As mentioned before, this is a game changer right here. I was so worried about that, and they did so good. There's even mail up under the snake. I don't know if you can see that. They left nothing unattended to. It would be really cool if you could have just removed the snake. But why? Because he looks amazing with it. Hips. Wow, look at that. Look at the hip action. This guy is a stout monster of a medieval knight looking guy. And he can still get solid hip rotation and movement in his legs. All right, what about the knees? The knees, not quite a 90. He's going to get about a 75 at best, but they do twist at the knee. And then his boots are really tight. Be careful with these. They feel kind of snug. There is a twist, a hinge, and a rocker. So there are 3 points of contact in these feet. So that's pretty cool. And that mirrors all over to this side. Be careful when moving the knee because of that twist. Sometimes it's oriented wrongly. Make sure you get that hinge where you want it. You don't break nothing. And yeah, this guy's phenomenal. So far, the only issues I have are these feet being a little tight at the hinge. It's nothing some hot water won't fix, or a hair dryer. Now, can he stand well? That's the issue. Those feet are kind of wonky, and he does have some slight stability issue because of the shape of those feet and the wonkiness of, as you can see, they're just kind of gummy, like a little gummy in that little ankle area. But this guy is massive. This guy is massive. Let's check out the accessories. Look at this monster of a shield. He's got a full-on sculpted snake head with painted gold and red details, and it is solid all the way through. They even sculpted the back to look like wood. That looks like wood. It looks like black painted wood planks going across the back, and it's textured. It has a very distinct texture on it. These bands are softer, which is interesting. I guess it would just fit over the arm. The shield is amazing. Look at that. He's got his snake flail, which is gorgeous. Again, with the snake theme, the gold rattle handle, the full-on snake head, cobra head with the tongue whipping out, and a real chain with a steel flail on the end. This thing is awesome. This is an amazing accessory. Then he has this really awesome longsword. Well, I'll say really awesome. It's kind of minimalistic, but it does the job. I'd say it's kind of weak at the handle. It's not as like extravagant as, say, Warduke's sword is, but I like these little fangs on the end. and the red is kind of sloppy right here. So this sword's okay. He has 2 open hands attached to him in the package, 2 fists, 2 gripping looking pointing hands, 2 other gripping hands. He has no sheath for his sword, though I believe it's supposed to go in this little snake tail right there as his sheath. It's clever. This is a soft rubber, so you can flip it right up under there and then flip it right back out. Nowhere to really store his flail. I don't know which hand. I guess he would hold it like this, but as mentioned before, sometimes it's just easier to wrap it around the wrist. I think it's supposed to go up around the arm like that. Be careful pulling these hands out. These hands are kind of soft compared to Warduke's, so these pegs kind of want to pull through the plastic, so be cautious when pulling those out. So slide the shield up on the forearm. It actually holds pretty tightly. Then you can attach the sword hand in place so he can have both his sword and shield in one hand, which looks pretty great. And then for backup attack, he's got his little snake flail in the other, which just looks outstanding. It would have been cool if they'd have had done a flip-up mask to reveal his face, but I'm okay with how they did this. He just looks phenomenal. This guy is just one of the best looking action figures I've gotten in a while. Let's bring in Warduke, and as you can see, he is quite substantially taller than Warduke. And Grimsword is, gosh, 8 1/4 inches. Bring in Tigra from Thundercats. As you can see, he quite literally dwarfs him. The Yellow Ranger is tiny. And then Wonder Woman, also tiny. I don't know how NECA does this. I don't know how they're able to just consistently release top-notch, top-quality products at such an affordable price range. Like $35 is, like I said, it's pricey for a collectible. But when I'm considering what I'm paying for other similar quality products from other companies, it's absolutely ludicrous. These guys are still readily available for pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, other third-party retailers, and now you can find them at Target probably for a limited time. They probably only bought a limited stock, paying homage to the vintage 1980s toy line in what all I can describe is the best possible way. I really wish NECA would get the Conan the Barbarian license from the movies. I was thrilled when Super 7 got it, because at least somebody was trying to make figures, and we've never had them, and we finally got them, and they're very mediocre. They're nice, but they're not great, and I really wish that NECA would have got it, because if they can do this with these, there's no telling what they would have been able to do with that license. Speaking of Conan, these would go well with your Conan figures if you do have those from Super 7, especially with the snake theme on Grimsword here. And all I can say is these guys are amazing. If you're on the fence about these guys, take my word for it, you will not be disappointed in these figures. This has been an unboxing and review of NECA's Dungeons & Dragons Grimsword. And I am UR Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.